like to call the Delaware County Commissioners meeting in order. It's Tuesday, January 16th, 2018. Time is 9 a.m. If everybody could please stand for the pledge. Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Charlie, could you call the roll, please?
Mr. Henry?
Here.
Ms. Reagan?
Present.
Mr. King?
Here. I'd like to move on to appointments. I'd like to make one appointment today on the Public Defender Board, and that would be James Schaefer. If I could get a motion in a second.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Charlie, can you call the roll, please?
Mr. Henry?
Yes.
Ms. Reagan?
Yes.
Mr. King?
Yes.
What was the name?
James Schaefer.
Okay.
We have 3 items that's still under tabled business. I'd like to keep these tabled at this time.
I agree.
Mr. President, Todd Dinetti, Muncie Redevelopment Commission. You can remove the 2017-44. We're not requesting that anymore, so if you want to pull that off the table and remove it, you can.
Okay.
Thank you.
You just do that over the next meeting.
Yeah.
You make a motion.
Yeah, I'll make a motion, we remove that.
Second.
I have a motion to remove resolution number 2017-044. Charlie, can you call the roll, please?
Ms. Reagan?
Yes.
Mr. Henry?
Yes.
Mr. King?
Yes. Now we probably need a motion since we took it off the table too, or we just leave it?
It's being withdrawn, as I understand it.
Okay.
So just show it as withdrawn.
Okay. We have 2 others, the opioid litigation and Medicaid. I get a motion to keep both of these items tabled.
I'll make a motion, we keep them both tabled.
Second.
Motion and second. Charlie, can you call the roll, please?
Mr. Henry?
Yes.
Ms. Reagan?
Yes.
Mr. King?
Yes. Next, we have approval of minutes for January 2nd, 2018.
I'll make a motion, we approve the minutes.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Charlie, could you call the roll, please?
Ms. Reagan?
Yes.
Mr. Henry?
Yes.
Mr. King?
Yes. Next, we have presentations to commissioners. Mark Harebrant's here with Amorisco.
Morning, Commissioners.
Morning.
For the record, my name is Mark Harebrant. I'm a Senior Account Executive with Amorisco. With me today, I have Doug Munns, who is our Senior Project Development Engineer. As many of you know, we completed an energy efficiency project here for Delaware County back in 2015 to 2016. Project included energy efficiency improvements that were here at this courthouse, over at the jail, and also at the highway department. As part of that commitment and agreement that we had with the county, we agreed to come back each year and present to you a measurement and verification report as we have tracked the utilities in these buildings over the last year. And I'm pleased to tell you that when we originally went into this agreement, we projected that you would save $123,894 in energy savings for 1 full year. I'm pleased to tell you that we actually achieved a lot more than that, $161,915, just energy savings alone on that. And so I've got today a detailed report that's about 40 pages that has a lot of detail in it and what we've done in regards to monitoring those utilities and making sure that your buildings are operating a lot more efficient. and I've got those today to provide to you so that you have them. And then obviously when you get a chance to review them, if you do have any questions, please feel free to get in contact with us. If I could present. Yeah, I do. Thanks, man. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Appreciate the opportunity to do work with you guys. What was interesting was over at the jail, the water usage. We actually saved like $13,000 more than what was projected over there. But the use of the water over at the jail was unbelievable. They just push buttons, put things in it, and make the water run all the time. And by really watching that and putting controls on there, I think it's also helped. There was a lot of flooding and damages that were occurring when the inmates would do multiple flushes. They're continuous, and it would come down to the courtrooms. They'd have to close the courtrooms down for the day. So there's been a tremendous amount of benefits so far with this program. So thank you.
Thank you.
Next, we have a presentation from Brad Bookout in Augusta Consulting.
Commissioners, good morning. Brad Bookout with Delaware County Economic Development, Augusta Consulting. Have for you a PowerPoint presentation that we prepared on the work that we completed in 2017. And let me get this, give me just one moment to get this set up here. Okay, very good. So I'll be sensitive to your time today, but we appreciate the opportunity to work with you over the course of the last year. I believe that our partnership has done some good things together, and we want to highlight some of those things that have either added jobs or added new capital investment to the county's tax base. So the staff made up, which all of you are familiar with. Bruce Baldwin, as you know, has done a great job as the R&E call manager. My wife Lisa works as a CEO of the company. Bill Walters has done a great job as project manager. I rely on Bill every single day to do the work we do, as I know each of you do as well. What we do, and this will be evident as I get to the end of the report, but teamwork is really coming together is the beginning. Keeping together is progress, and working together is success. And you'll see as we get through this that working together with the different entities within the county has been the key critical factor that has helped us to do what we've done. So scope of work in 2017, we placed 185 calls to different companies within the county. We worked on 38 total projects. Focus at your direction was on small towns and locally owned businesses, so we'll continue to do that for 2018. We assisted with 4 total tax abatements with the county, and one with Littler Diecast, one with Real America Living, with United Construction Services, also with Midwest Metal. Thank the Economic Development Alliance for the assistance in bringing the Midwest Metal project to us. $13 million added in new buildings and equipment, 25 jobs created. And I want to be real specific in saying that with the amount of jobs and capital investment, that these are real numbers. We don't work with the companies to overinflate and to blow things up into something that's not. These are accountable numbers that can be verified. So we assisted with Delaware Glass with the purchase of the former Mersix building, Tucson Tool building on West Bethel Avenue. Buildings are back on the tax rolls and in use. We had a ribbon cutting at this location on January 9th. Up to 20 new jobs, $465,000 investment. I took some pictures of this location prior to these guys taking over the facility, and it's just really impressive what they're doing. The parking lot, the exterior of the building looks a lot better than it used to. So I'm glad that that's off the county's hands and back on the tax rolls. So Cole Academy project, this is the project that's nearing completion. Tracy Novice had her grand opening on January 6th of this year. 550 students at Cole Academy, which I was really impressed with. 30 plus minus full part-time jobs, a lot of part-time jobs at this facility to train kids. But they've been in Delaware County since 1948, so we're happy with that, happy to get some of the county's property back into use. J. Crew Landscaping plans a large expansion in Daleville. The economic development agreements were completed in 2017 for J. Crew to build 9,000 square feet out by I-69 in Daleville. A lot of J. Crew's business is towards Indianapolis and points up and down the I-69 corridor. They plan on making an $800,000 capital investment in 2018, maintaining 30 jobs at the new location, and projected to get underway this year. Getting properties back on the tax rolls and cleaning up blight. This is something that I know is dear to the county commissioners. Seeing properties that have been through multiple tax sales get back in the hands of somebody who's putting them to good, productive use. The Ohio and Lincoln Street warehouse, we worked with Knapp Supply to acquire the property. They're investing up to $300,000, creating 10 to 20 new jobs. Again, they've been in business in Delaware County for 142 years. Gaston Grain Elevator, this is now demolished, and this was an eyesore in Gaston for years and years. And it was one of their #1 projects that they wanted to see taken care of. So through your help, it was awarded to the town of Gaston. We worked with Evan Jackson Racing Engines, which is a small one-man shop currently in Gaston, building race car engines for some top teams in the United States. The town demolished the structure, and Evan Jackson has acquired it through a request for proposals, and he's promised to invest just $15,000 to clean it up, but also to create 2 jobs in Gaston, which is a good win for a small town. In Daleville, the former Lonnie's Crown Sports Bar, most people know where that's at. That was awarded to the town of Daleville. Subsequent request for proposals was issued and was awarded to CTP Investments to construct a small strip mall facade at that location. $300,000 total investment. Growing Delaware County, one project that I really like and enjoyed working with in 2017 was the Pete's Bar and Grill project in Albany. As we all know, we've all been to Pete's Duck Inn. The new name of that facility will be Pete's Bar and Grill. It has been, a good portion of it has been demolished and will be under construction as soon as the weather breaks. But the building and remodeling of 3,320 square feet this year, $621,000 invested into that property, 28 full and part-time jobs. This is a regional destination for our community and for our county, so we'd like to see this maintained. T-Max, this is the second project we've done with T-Max. T-Max purchased the former bus terminal on Fuson Road. They're investing $410,000 in the facility. The Redevelopment Commission assisted with upgrading storm drains, relocating utilities, paving the parking lot. AdSit Company responded to a request for proposals, and we're still working through this one, but we're getting closer every day. There's vacant industrial properties in Eaton, Indiana. AdSit proposes a $75,000 rehabilitation and construction of new offices, and then locate 10 to 13 new jobs in Eaton. So we'll hopefully see more of that happen this year. Retaining businesses. Through our business retention calls, we do a lot of little things, from everything from communicating with the highway department about a pothole or a need for a culvert. Bill Walter specifically worked with the surveyor's office on this property to alleviate a flooding problem. The flooding problem that was so bad that the company was actually thinking about leaving this location. So what we want to do, we don't want to lose businesses in our county. So I know Commissioner Henry was instrumental in reporting this to Bill Walters, but this flooding problem has been alleviated at the Wolf Boom Radio location. So we're happy to see them stay at that place. Park 1 rail spur and loading dock. We worked with CHA Engineering, completed the preliminary construction drawings for a loading platform and loading area for the rail spur. We want to get the rail spur back into productive use. We were working on this last year. This is not as progressed quite as quickly as what we wanted to, but we're getting there. The construction drawings are done. We still have interest from local companies who want to ship by rail, would like to use that spur. We're continuing talks to acquire the property to access the spur at this time. Pipeline projects, we're currently working with 2 Italian companies who are considering locations in county, working with a food processing company considering locating in county. in contact with 21 different small to medium-sized businesses in the county that have interest in expanding or establishment of new locations. All projects combined, now all of these will not come to fruition, but it's approximately $22 million in total capital investment that's currently being discussed for our county. And if all happened, would result in about 356 new jobs, which all will not happen, but we do have the interest, which we are excited about. Total jobs and investment in progress from 2017, new jobs 131, buildings property investment 11,104 million, new equipment and machinery 6,295,000. So total new investment in county $17,400,550. So we're happy about that. And again, these are real numbers. These are not fictitious, made-up numbers. We had a time when there were announcements of 400 and 500 job projects, and they never came to fruition. So this is real numbers. This is actual stuff. Town projects. You, the commissioners, were instrumental with projects in 2017 in all 6 of the towns around Delaware County. Notable projects in Albany is the property acquisition for the industrial commercial park in Albany. We also conducted a town visioning session, had 28 attendees. We completed a SWOT analysis of the town. We're also working on the Industrial Center Road development project. Daleville, the splash pad was a big project that we worked on in 2017 and completed. Bill Walters did a fantastic job managing that entire project from start to finish. We're also working on the downtown development in Daleville. The Redevelopment Commission acquired the former Lee's Amoco station in the downtown, as well as the bike shop that's next door. I know a lot of us who drive by that every day see that that's currently being demolished at this time. Phase 1 and 2 environmental analysis was conducted at the property. There is some environmental concerns there that are being addressed as well. And then, of course, we're demolishing the building, as it says there. Town of Eaton, there was $100,000 in edit money earmarked for their $12 million sewer project. They needed a grant match. That's in play right now. Matching funds from edit were also put towards the town's community crossing paving grant. They also remodeled the restrooms at their community center, made them ADA compliant, new concession stand in the Danny Howard Park. So Gaston, creation of the new I-69 State Road 28 Gaston TIF district. This was a good project, recognizing the need that someday we'll need water and sewer service at the intersection of State Road 28 and I-69. We're currently working with VS Engineering on a study of what it would take to put water and sewer out there, but the TIF district is created. Preliminary engineering report, that's VS Engineering, planning for the eventual creation of water and sewer. We really understand that there's a lot of vacant ground in that area. There's no plans, there's no prospect, but we've got Westdale High School, we've got the truck stop, all on water wells and running their own sewage treatment plants. And so someday there has to be some assistance there. So we're working on that right now. Last one in Gaston was awarded the grain elevator, which I discussed a minute ago, as well as a property on Sycamore Street in the downtown, which there's currently a new house being built on that property right now. So that's good news. Selma, edit funds have gone to assist them with stormwater improvements and upgrades to prevent intersections within the town from flooding. We assisted with funding for the new town snowplow salt truck, which they're very appreciative of. I know they've expressed their appreciation to all 3 of you. Bill Walters worked and secured a $225,000 community crossing grant for the town of Selma, also for road paving. Yorktown, we're meeting with Yorktown right after this meeting, but assisting with their downtown redevelopment project. I think we'll see more to come on this in the coming year. It assisted in funding the creation of the revolving loan fund. You provided to them a check for $75,000 for new and existing business expansions in the town. So $1.7 million in total edit distributed to the towns. These towns are all ecstatic about this. I know that you know, and presenting checks in their meetings. They've been very happy. I think the cooperation between the county and the small towns is at a new level at this time. I think it's better than it's probably ever been. Talk about the Albany Commercial Industrial Park Road Project. This is a map. You can kind of see the road on the right-hand side of the map. which would go from the state highway all the way back to the former Bell Aquaculture facility. And property has been acquired, construction drawings are in place, negotiations are underway currently with NDOT. United Engineering has done a fantastic job on this project, assisting us with this. We hope bids let in spring of 2018 just for the first phase of the road. Then we have one developer at this time interested in building a new building in the industrial park. Grant projects for 2017, we've been working in cooperation with Merchant McIntyre and the Regional Planning District on 2 federal grant projects. One is the current application to the U.S. Department of Commerce for $2.5 million for Phase 2 of the Albany Road project. Current application to the United States Department of Economic Development Administration for $150,000 for the I-69 Regional Impact Study, which I think that you're going to maybe appoint somebody to this new steering committee today. Working in cooperation with also the Academy for Model Aeronautics and applying for an FAA integration drone pilot program grant. So there's federal funds to train pilots to fly drones, and so AMA is interested in that, so we're assisting with the application with AMA. 2017 clawbacks and cleanup work. This is what everybody likes to see. The Bravini second payback, we collected the $700,000 payback from Bravini to the county for them not meeting their job numbers over the course of the last 5 years. That is their last and final payback to the county. So we collected a previous check 2 years prior, and that came in on time and is deposited in the county account. Jardin Home Brands had a second payback, also of $45,000 for jobs that were not complied with or not compliant in the town of Daleville. And that also, the check has been received before the end of the year and deposited into county accounts. Trends and challenges. This is just what Bill and I see every day and hear, and you know, good, bad, whatever. This is the reality of the county and reality of what we deal with every day. I-69 continues to be an attractor for the county. We believe that we need to promote it and develop it. Schools are critical. In 2018, at your request, we will be meeting with the county superintendents of all the county schools to talk to them about projects, needs. You know, they have an influx of students in the county schools, so we need to address the county schools and make sure that we're working cooperatively as a county unit with those schools. Quality of life amenities, trails, parks, beautification, dining, housing, shopping are all continue to be important. Promote regional attractors, businesses, and amenities that are unique to a place. This is everything from the Pete's Duck Inn in Albany to the Barking Cow in Gaston to Bird's Barbecue in Daleville. Those are places that attract people, and we like those types of projects. Where are we at here? Collaboration of entities, this is key as well. From the Redevelopment Commission, the towns, the school corporations, the county, we have to work cooperatively with those entities. Support local companies, which are the backbone of every community. Focus on small towns, which I know have been our focus for the last 2 years. And willingness to be creative. And when I say this, one size does not fit all. I had a call from a Blackford County elected official, and they were asking us about our tax abatement program and what's our standard form and what do we offer standard to companies. I said, we don't have a standard blanket. We have a form they fill out, but there's a different level of competence with different projects that we all have. And so we can't just pigeonhole the same level of service or the same incentive for every single project. Current challenges. Of course, this is what we read in the paper every day. Muncie Community Schools is a challenge. Government corruption, the perception of government corruption is an absolute challenge that we deal with. Workforce relating to the skills gap, drug issues, and overall population loss. So those are questions that we have to answer as we make phone calls and deal with our prospects. County Redevelopment Commission highlights. The Morrison Road TIF area sidewalk project. Right-of-way acquisitions are complete in Phase 1. Phase 1 bid was awarded to United Construction Services. As soon as the weather breaks, construction will begin on these sidewalks in the Morrison Road area. It's a $6 million total project. This is just phase one of the project, and there's a map kind of Bethel Avenue along McGalliard where the service road is on the south side, and then Morrison Road pretty much from south of Walmart clear to Bethel Avenue. Daleville Splash Pad, fantastic project, estimated 24,000 visitors from July to September of this year. The project was completed, ribbon cutting, largest splash pad in East Central Indiana, $4.2 million project. It's a fantastic amenity for the town of Daleville. Thank you to Angie and Bob Jesse for assistance with the paving projects. We utilized some TIF funds to do some paving, and that Bob and Angie both looked at roads that in and around the TIF areas that could be deemed as serving and or benefited from TIF dollars. And you can see the different roads that were paved from the Nebo Road TIF District, Industrial Center TIF District, and Park 1 TIF District, 9.6 total lane miles. Commissioner King, I know this was important to you to see some TIF money go towards road paving. So this is the second year in a row that we paved a considerable chunk of roads. So this is where we come full circle, all the entities that helped make these projects possible, and you can see I could even fill a second page with people to thank, and I won't read through all of these, but the commissioners have been fantastic to work with. Thank you to the commissioner staff, all of the county council, county redevelopment commission members, the highway department, the planning commission and GIS, the auditor's office and their staff, Delaware County Surveyor's office, County Tax Abatement Committee, Delaware County Creed and Edit Boards, the Regional Planning District has done a lot to assist with projects. Of course, the town boards, and I'd be amiss not to mention the Delaware County Legal Counsel and the financial advisors that assist us. So that is the conclusion of my report. I'm happy to take questions or here to work with you, whatever you need.
Thank you, Brian.
Thanks, Brian. You've been busy, haven't you?
Good job.
Been busy. Yeah.
Good job, guys.
Thank you very much.
Appreciate it.
Next, we'll move on to contracts and agreements for approval. We have supplement number 1 to office lease between Federal Building LLC and Delaware County Community Corrections.
Good morning.
Morning.
Mitch Castle, I'm the director of Delaware County Community Corrections. I believe we included a copy of a supplemental lease in your information. We're looking to capture about 1,000 square feet on the second floor of the federal building to ensure that we have enough space to grow over the next couple of years for the outlay that it requires. It's not a bad pickup for us. So, got a couple of original contracts here. I'm going to hand those to Denise before I leave. I just want to be sure I don't lose these. One's for Bonnie Brown and one's for my records. So really I'm just trying to make sure we get a signature from you guys and an okay if you're all right with that. So.
John, you have an opportunity to look at this?
I did have an opportunity to look at that. They sent it to me, and I didn't see any issue with it. Would recommend, if the commissioners are so inclined, to approve it.
Okay.
Did you pick up some parking?
Yeah, that's part of the lease also.
Yeah.
I'm going to be able to provide a private parking space for all of my employees now instead of just some of them. So that was a nice addition to
10
the lease.
spaces.
that I was
10,
able
I
to
said
get.
10 spaces.
Total will have 34 spaces now, which covers my whole staff.
I make a motion we approve the supplemental lease agreement.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any more discussion? Charlie, call the roll, please.
Ms. Reagan,
Yes.
Mr. Henry,
Yes.
Mr. King,
Yes.
thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate
Thanks,
your time.
Next, I have the memorandum agreement for Bridge 701.
Morning, Commissioners.
Morning.
This agreement is necessary to proceed with the rehab of Bridge 701 located in the town of Albany. The bridge is deemed eligible for historical, and so this is part of the requirements that we will preserve and document the history of the bridge. And this agreement was prepared through State Historic Preservation and Army Corps of Engineers. So I just need your approval on that.
So you have to hire someone to do this?
We already did that in December.
We did that.
And we did a supplement.
So this is just a follow-up.
Right.
So moved.
Second.
Motion is second. Any discussion on it? Charlie, call the roll, please.
Mr. Henry,
Yes.
Ms. Reagan,
Yes,
Mr. King,
Yes.
Thank you.
thank you.
Next, we'll move to resolution number 2018. This is a resolution of Delaware County Commissioners approving participation in the ECI Regional Planning District I-69 Steering Committee.
Morning, Commissioners. Bill Walters, ECI Regional Planning District. The resolution in front of you is for the formation of the I-69 Steering Committee. It's for Delaware County and your approval to select your designee and all the municipalities up and down I-69. As James, you're well aware, we're working with EDA on funding to study that as an impact manufacturing technology zone. We are working with Hamilton, Madison, Delaware, and Grant County. Your approval today would allow us, your appointee, and then all of the adjacent municipalities to make their appointment to the committee.
I'll make a motion we approve resolution 2018-02.
Second.
Motion is second. Any further discussion? Charlie, can you call the roll, please?
Ms. Reagan,
Yes,
Mr. Henry,
Yes.
Mr. King.
Yes.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Thank you.
Next, we have resolution number 2018-03 to assign tax sale certificate from Delaware County to the city of Muncie, Indiana for the use and benefit of its Department of Redevelopment.
Commissioners, Todd Dinetti, City of Muncie Redevelopment Commission, and Zane Bishop, he's an associate. He's going to be passing out a document that has some explanation for this. I know that there was a request in previous meeting that we are trying to acquire tax certificates for properties that are blighted and are ready for destruction. Today we're requesting 10 certificates, and 7 are unsold at 2 or more tax sales. So, these houses are going to be torn down. There's no benefit to keep these properties in the hands of the commissioners. There's no benefit to continue to keep trying to sell these properties on the tax sale. There's no benefit to the property tax owners around them. There's no benefit to you as a collection of taxes because they're not going to pay. And the benefit that we do have by you donating and giving these tax certificates to the city of Muncie is for us to demolish these buildings through a grant that we have from the state called the Hardest Hit Fund. And subsequent, then we will also be putting these properties in the hands of somebody that will be paying taxes. Either an adjacent property owner, depending on where they're located, which we have done, or we will have Habitat for Humanity will build new houses, or one of the other organizations will build new houses. Right now, on some of these properties, especially in the South Central Neighborhood Association area, we have about 30 houses that are projected on these hardest hit spots. That will bring additional tax dollars to the community, not only the county, but the city and all the other taxing districts. And we also have another area that we're currently in the process is just west of the South Central neighborhood, and that will add probably about another 4 or 5 houses on those areas. And we're going to continue to provide these types of programs that will put new housing or put new property owners in charge of these properties so that they will pay taxes. So I ask for you today to consider this, support this, and approve this resolution. Thank you. If you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer.
well, I'm always glad to see someone here wanting to try to do something, because the city won't do it, we can't do it.
We're going to keep coming back as long as we have. I think it says on the document that Zane passed out that we have about 88 properties that we've already demolished. And keep in mind, we take these down, and it right away, once you remove these, it takes away the crime issue, it takes away the blight issue, it takes away it increases the assessed valuations of these areas. So we're going to continue to do this until we're out of funds through the hardest hit program.
With the last resolution, the reason we didn't approve it is because you guys haven't put hardly any back on the tax rolls.
Well, every one of them, once they get demolished, it takes a while. I mean, we either assign them to an adjacent property owner, once that happens, they're back on the tax roll.
Yeah.
They have to be paid by that property owner, or we assign them to somebody that will develop a house on them, or any other additional process. It is not our intent to hold on to these, where there's no benefit to us, because we have to maintain them. By taking them off your hands, we take on the responsibility and the liability. It also, by taking these houses down, it immediately increases the tax assessed valuation for all the houses around them. So there's no loss on your side. If you know, just because we're not moving them quick enough doesn't affect you. It benefits you, and it benefits those property owners around them.
I think it was like a little over 200 properties that you guys has already received from the county. You've only demolished 88 properties so far.
Well, I don't know that necessarily we're demolishing all of them. Some of those properties that we've acquired, that we're putting them back to use in other ways. Those properties will be in the process of being renovated, or they will be put in somebody's hands that will pay taxes.
Are you including with the sanitary district?
No.
Just the city?
Yeah.
Just the city.
So when you say renovated, how do you do that when you're saying renovated? Is there a company out there that might purchase the property from you that might go in and renovate it?
Yeah, well, we have a program called Neighborhood Investment Committee, and that Neighborhood Investment Committee has been working for about the last 3 years on the process of assigning these homes to somebody to purchase. We have a lot of people out there that want to buy houses, want to be homeowners, that have the opportunity to come in. We're working with many banks to assign them a construction note that will allow them to invest money in these properties to renovate them so that they can live in them themselves, not for necessarily to rent out. Our encouragement is for these people to acquire homes, put investment into them, live in them, have a mortgage, and then they have to complete this process in a 3-year period. So they have to get it up to standard of livability within that 3-year period once we assign them. Currently, a lot of those properties, you know, they can be livable, but they're not currently up to code. So they got to be able to get to code.
So if somebody's interested in doing what you're saying about renovating a home, how do they contact this investment committee? Do you have numbers or anything where they can contact them?
I'm going to have Zane explain that. He operates that committee.
Zane Bishop, Muncie Redevelopment Commission. When it comes to properties being renovated through the help of the Muncie Redevelopment Commission, when we first put out the property for sale, we go through the standard public sale processes, which is required of us. If no one contacts us saying that they are interested in acquiring and renovating the property, then we kind of just sit on it ready for it to be sold until an eligible buyer can be identified. We're constantly contacted by individuals, typically first-time home buyers, looking to acquire a home for little money from the Muncie Redevelopment Commission. They put a lot of sweat equity into the property, and then once the property is up to code, then they occupy the property for at least 3 years. So this is their way of attracting homeowners to live in Muncie and to actually own their homes instead of renting.
Now the committee, how do you contact the committee? Just say somebody wants to purchase one of these homes to go in, who do they contact?
They would contact me, or anyone with the Muncie Redevelopment Commission who can lead them on to me.
So the Muncie Redevelopment Commission, is that the committee that?
Yes, the Neighborhood Investment Committee is basically a subsidiary of the Muncie Redevelopment Commission. Just a different way to handle blighted properties. The committee largely handles residential properties, whereas the larger Redevelopment Commission handles more commercial properties.
And they fill out an application, correct?
Correct.
What's the application fee?
The application fee is $100, and then the purchase price is $2,500 to go toward the basically any legal costs we put into it. We only sell properties that have gone through quiet title, and we've been maintaining them until an owner can be identified. So we're not making money off of this. This is mostly our way to recuperate some costs. And
We're actually losing money, I can tell you that.
and to properly vet buyers. And then through the Hardest Hit Fund program, any money that's collected from purchase prices, that money actually needs to go back to the state as part of their requirements. We just have a small purchase price fee in order to properly vet buyers. We don't want them to just acquire a property and then a vacant lot and then sit on it for years and have to go back to tax sale, trying to keep properties off the tax sale.
So it's a $100 application fee, and then give the applicant the property for $2,500.
Yes, that's through the Neighborhood Investment Committee, and the $2,500 covers part of our legal fees, but as Todd said, it doesn't cover all our legal fees or any of the mowing fees.
Yeah, in the investment committee, though, it's actually the Muncie Redevelopment.
Well, the investment committee, Neighborhood Investment Committee is a committee of the Redevelopment Commission. The Redevelopment Commission is the only way that we can process this. Now, the city council is trying to establish a land bank. That land bank will take over and we will be out of it. But our purpose is to become a partner in the process of a collection of these properties in order to put them in somebody else's hands. We're the easiest mechanism to do it, just like your Delaware County Redevelopment Commission on properties. You guys don't want to mess with it. It's not really in your purview to deal with that. So that's what that commission does. That's what the city's commission does.
That was going to be my next question, how the land bank plays parts of.
Yeah, the land bank will take over this. This neighborhood investment committee was just put together to come up with programs, come up with the process of how these houses would be put in other people's hands, and establish basically a pipeline, so to speak, of being able to process this. And it's unfortunate there's a lot of them out there. We don't want them. We don't want this. We don't want to have to do this at all. This is not our. We can spend a lot more time doing other things, but at the same time, for everybody in Delaware County and Muncie and anybody around us, getting rid of these blighted houses or getting these houses fixed up and paying more taxes is better for all of us.
Have you had anybody that has done the rehab on the homes?
We have currently some that are working, and I think there's one on Elm Street, one of them.
We have two couples that are currently working on rehabbing homes. One's on North Hackley by East Washington Academy. And the other one is on East Charles in the East Central.
I think we have about 10 houses on inventory. We don't want to carry a lot that can be put back on and renovated and back on the tax rolls. A lot of these houses that you talk about are Hardest Hit Funds houses. They're just not livable, and we need to get them down as soon as possible.
Now, if these houses aren't within a TIF district, can the Muncie Redevelopment Commission still have deed to them?
If it benefits a TIF area.
Well, what I'm saying, if it's not within the TIF area.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's outside and it's.
Yep.
Because wouldn't it sort of have to be adjoining somehow to that TIF district?
No. You can process, if it benefits a TIF area, you can work outside the TIF area within a 5-mile radius.
Okay.
If it benefits a TIF area. We've done it a number of times. You guys did it when you loan money from one TIF area to another TIF area to benefit that particular TIF area. That is not uncommon. And the Muncie Redevelopment Commission is not the TIF. The Muncie Redevelopment Commission is the group of committee that processes this. So the Redevelopment Commission has the capacity to do about anything at once. The TIF is a totally different process. When you're talking about a TIF district, that's a different function. The Muncie Redevelopment Commission is what operates this program.
Okay. And the committee is, the committee is actually the Muncie Redevelopment, members of the Muncie Redevelopment.
No,
Commission.
there's
Or is there
we
just
have
like
we have
3 or 4?
we have members of the auditor's office that's on this committee that works with these tax delinquencies, and we have people from construction industry. We have people from the banking industry. This committee is not made. I'm just saying it's an arm of the Redevelopment Commission. Zane is our representative on there, and we have a MRC representative, but it is not operated by the MRC. It has a standalone
So
group.
it has a standalone committee that
Yep.
we have people from the auditor's office that sits on the committee.
Yep. We have bankers, because we want to work with the opportunity of putting these houses back in people's hands. We have people in the construction business that are on there to help us determine whether these houses are worthy of renovation and how costly they might be. So yeah, that's the process.
Is there any way how you could email me one of these applications where?
For the-
I know there's might be people out there that I know that might be interested in renovating one of these properties.
Yes, I will certainly do that. I would love to get the word out.
Do you have anything else?
And we've, just so a record, we have turned people down that the committee determined that was not, that, there was groups that were coming in trying to buy multiple houses. And we turned them down because we knew they didn't have the resources to be able to get on these right away, and then they would sit. So we're not just giving these out to anyone.
Have you gave any of them out? Because the last time we tabled this resolution, I believe it was 044, you hadn't put any back on the tax rolls. Is there any back on the tax rolls yet?
For the side lot program, which were the properties that were acquired and demolished through the hardest hit fund program, and then sold for just a small price to an adjacent property owner. I think about, I have it in the pack, I think it's about 11 or so.
How many?
11. Yeah, 11 properties have been transferred to an adjacent property owner. 2 have been transferred from new construction, and we have many more in the pipeline. The process is very time consuming. We first want to make sure that the title's all cleared up on it. We don't want a new owner to have to deal with any of that and potentially default on the property. Then we accept applications and thoroughly vet them for property taxes, for zoning and building code violations, and then the commission actually makes the determination, and then we draft the deed and sign everything over.
Janet, do you know how many for sure's been put back on? Do you have any idea?
Janet Kessler, tax sale deputy in the auditor's office. I only tracked 5, but I want to get with Zane to make sure that I'm getting all the information from the plat room. So
Who from the auditor's office is on?
I used to be,
board?
but I resigned about 1.5 years ago.
Okay, who's on it now from the auditor's office?
No one that I know of.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
I can also forward the list of those properties because I know for sure that 11 of those properties have been sold to an adjacent property owner. And just to clarify one more time, the fee that's associated with those properties through our agreement with the state, those automatically go back to the state. We just use that as a vetting tool.
Sure. Well, what I had said before to the old resolution is get 30 or 40 back on the tax roll and be happy to.
Well, we have to
To
remember,
continue the
it's a supply and
process.
demand, so there's just not a lot of demand right now. But at least we're doing the paperwork, and they're doing all the legwork to get it.
Here's what, if you're concerned about the properties, and that's fine. If you want to hang on to them, you want to handle them, then here's what you can do. You can donate them, assign them to us. We will demolish the properties or the houses that are currently on them, because that's what our concern is. If you're concerned about any kind of public safety, that's the concern that you need to be worried about. We'll remove those houses, and I'll be happy to give every one of these properties right back to you. I have no interest in holding on to them. I have interest in removing these houses that need to be torn down. You are a representative, just like we are, of the city and the county, to get these houses out of here. And that's our interest. So if you're concerned about us holding on to these properties, I have no interest in them. I'll be happy to give them back to you. I'll sign them back to you as soon as those houses are gone.
Well, Todd, I'd like to say I appreciate all your work, because I know it's just a hard job that someone has to do it, and yeah, we just have to work together. I mean, this
Right.
is, I can't wait until the next one comes up here. I move that we adopt 2018-03.
Okay. Can you get me the application and everything? The houses, addresses? Do you guys need this done today, or can it wait until our next meeting in February?
You know,
I'd just like to have a little bit more information.
I don't know what more information are you asking for?
I'd like to see the application on this. I'd like to see some of the property, because I'd like to see if the properties might be rehabbed, like you guys are talking about.
Do you guys have a group that's ready to do that? Because I'm really not interested in doing it. If you guys have a program that will put these houses back on the tax rolls or get them occupied, I have no interest in it. You act like we're coming up here and taking something away from you and sitting on it. We're not sitting on these. We don't want them. We're trying to do everybody in this area a favor by trying to get rid of these houses, some of these houses, and get some of them back on the tax roll. If you're not interested, then I suggest that you guys put a program together that you can put these back on, and I fully support it, fully. Otherwise, you guys will have to continue to maintain them instead of us. That's not, we don't want that responsibility. We're trying to be beneficial and helpful. But if you're concerned about us holding on to property, like I said, I'll give them all back to you when we're done with them. I think it's just not a good program for the commissioners or the mayor or anybody that has money sitting in an account that can take these houses that are blighted and aren't livable. If they're still standing and we have an opportunity to take them down, I think that's a safety issue if we're not following that. I don't think it's a necessary thing.
In the pictures we have here, the houses that you...
That's exactly what's on that
demolished.
list. And if you think you guys want to keep those and take those on, I'm fully supportive
I'll
of
be
it.
honest with you, no, I really don't want to keep them. These are the 10 you want.
That's the 10 we're requesting at this time, yes.
Who put this packet together? You're sure these are the properties, right?
Yes. Yeah, and I wasn't gonna, like, there's plenty more pictures I could have shown. I just want to bore you with details. I mean, every single one of those properties was added by the city with approval from our state agency, IHCA. So they all have severe structural foundation, roof issues that have, and they've sat there for years, so they're just getting worse, basically.
Sure, I'm still counting.
On the list,
There's one more I think that's missing on here.
this is the list I was on. Then that goes down.
There may be one on the list that was being donated. A lot of times we ask the owners that are sitting on these to donate them to the redevelopment commission so that we can get clear title right away and get this process.
I apologize if I missed a property, but
It's Hodson.
okay, I can forward some pictures of that if that would be helpful. I know there were some large holes in the roof on the north side of the property. It's over on the east end of Whiteley.
You have a question, Don?
And for your information, just so you know, when it comes to hardest hit, the redevelopment commission, as well as a few other partners, are listed with the state as the person that will be collecting these properties to do this. So this has nothing to do with TIF. This is an assignment of property that we have to have a partner involved in order to, for the grant process, and the MRC came forward and offered the opportunity to do that. We have others that are different organizations, like private or not-for-profit organizations that take these on. But we take them on, the bulk of them, we carry the load of it, take on the responsibility. We're not really interested, as I said, but we've done it just so we can get rid of these houses.
Someone has to be accountable.
Yeah, they have to be assigned to somebody afterward. That's what the state requires.
Yeah, I'd like to have all the information, but go ahead and do these. That way they can get started.
These properties on this particular ordinance, many of them were also on the ordinance 2017-44.
If I may, the first ordinance was withdrawn because after the ordinance was tabled the first time, we reached out to all the owners, attempting to gain contact with them and see if they were donating. So I contacted all of them on the first resolution, and there's only one that I was able to contact. So that's why some of them were removed, and then placed. The other resolution was withdrawn, and then some of the properties placed back on the current resolution.
I don't know how many, because I didn't get a chance to look at all of them. I don't know how many from 44 are on this new resolution, but it
About 4 or 5.
looked like about 6 or 7 that I got real quick. And as we presented in October, there's still 215 that have been transferred to the redevelopment commission, and of that total, about 25% haven't been converted from the tax to the tax title deed yet.
Do you know how long it'll be before you guys start the demolition on these?
On the ones?
On the ones you just handed us? Because Mr. Donetti, is up here telling us about the public safety and everything. I totally understand that. I'm a public safety officer. But how long will it take to demolish these after they're...
I'm gonna answer that with how long have they been like this already and haven't been handled? Haven't been boarded up, haven't been taken care of. We're out there at least trying to do that. Now, once we get these, once we acquire the titles to them, we will put them out to bid, and we will have, we do it in a lot amounts.
And how long does that take?
So probably about 6 months to deed, approximately, from assignment.
And Mr. Donette, I understand what you're saying, but you also sat up here where we sat, and I'm sure these properties were probably the same way when you was here.
And you're exactly right, because there's no money to take care of them.
The comment that you're saying to me, I don't know how long these have sat there either. I'm just asking a simple question that if we give the property to you, is it going to still be sitting looking like this 2 years from now, or 3 years from now, or 4 years from now, or will it be demolished within 6 months to a year? These are the only questions that I am asking you. I don't know if this has been like this for 5 or 6 years, because I drive around Muncie and I see homes like this that have been like this for years and years. So my only question is if the property is giving to the Muncie Redevelopment Commission to have these properties demolished, is it going to take you 2 to 3 years to demolish them? Because I know since I've been a commissioner, we have given properties to the Muncie Redevelopment Commission to be demolished, and we still have some that has not been demolished. So my question is with these 10 properties, because I don't want these properties, I'd love to see them demolished. My question is to you and Mr. Bishop, is it going to take 2 to 3 years to demolish these, Or will these people that live in these areas see these things coming down within 6 months to a year? That is my only question.
These properties will be demolished within a year.
Within a
The
year?
only major setback would be objections from the current owners of the properties when we're requiring the deed.
Okay, that was my question. Well, no problem, as long as they're saying 6 months to a year to have these things tore down, I mean. So that would mean most of the other properties that you guys have now, you guys are in the process of demolishing
Correct.
them, correct?
Correct.
So they should be demolished before these right here will get
Yes.
demolished, correct?
Yes.
Do I have a copy?
Yes, you may, Sherry.
Doodle on that.
I'm good. Sherry, did you make the motion?
Yeah, you want me to repeat them?
Which one are we on?
Still on,
2018-07.
Oh, three.
Oh, third.
Oh, 03, I'm sorry, 03.
At least we had a timetable now. I'll go ahead and I'll second it on the 10. Which one needs to be removed?
looks like Hudson to me. We have no information on Hudson.
Can you get that information to us, Zane,
Yes.
on Hodson?
Yes, I will.
And also the application?
Yes, I'll forward the application, information on Hodson, as well as the list of properties that have been transferred.
Okay. And these owners around this property, they can look for 6 months to a year to have this property demolished, right?
Correct. Correct.
And all the other properties that we have given to the Muncie Redevelopment Commission, within 6 months, we can look for them to be demolished.
Correct.
Well, can I say something? I want to make it clear, and Mr. Donati, we have no interest in this either, but we're giving all these properties to the city and nothing's getting done with them. And that is why we are giving them to the city. So something gets done, they get back on the tax rolls. I want to make that clear. So if we could get, I'm not sure what process you guys are doing, but if you could expedite that a little bit to get more of them back on here, we'll be happy to give you more properties. That's what we said the last time we tabled 044.
We can only move as fast as government will allow us. I mean, if we could acquire these houses from you today and demolish them tomorrow, we would. We have the money to do it. It takes the time, the process. We have to do everything by the legal process. We have to go to make sure that there's a clear title so that there's no property owner that comes back a year from now and says, you took down my property and you had no right because the titles weren't clear. Now, I would work it a little bit faster. You got people behind the scenes that want to work it exactly by the law. And so that is a concern of mine too. But our interest is getting these houses down because they won't get down unless we get them processed, period. 10 years from now, they'll probably still be standing if we don't do something like this.
Well, that's my comment, the reason why I want to know how long it will take to take these properties down, because like you said, you made the comment, who knows how long they've been like this.
We don't want to keep them like that.
So and if I lived next door to this, I would want to know, like, what was it, over $4 million the city was awarded to the state to demolish properties? I'd want to know how long it's going to take. Is it going to take 2 or 3 years before it comes down? Or is it just going to be sitting the way it is? But Mr. Bishop's assured me that these properties here, within 6 months to a year, will be demolished. And the other, whatever you have, 100 and some that you guys have left, will be demolished within 6 months. So I will take Mr. Bishop at his word.
Question then.
So, and honestly, the next time you guys come back up and ask for more property, I'll probably ask again, how many houses have you had demolished?
Certainly.
Okay? Nothing else? Charlie, call the roll.
If I may, I don't believe there was a second to,
I said,
Yeah.
you second, okay, thank you. I didn't hear that, sorry. Mr. Henry,
Yes.
Ms. Reagan,
Yes.
Mr. King.
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Next, we'll move to resolution number 2018-04, resolution of Board of Commissioners of Delaware County, Indiana, identifying parcels to offer the sale to adjacent property owners. Janet?
Commissioners, I have a list of 177 properties. They're vacant. They've been on one or more tax sales. And this is the list that we're going to be working on this year to sell them to adjacent property owners.
I was very impressed. I was wondering, I hadn't taken time to count them, but 100. You've been very busy. Though.
Yes, yes.
Well, congratulations.
I make a motion we approve resolution number 2018-04.
I second that.
And these will be sold to adjacent property owners
Yes.
and will go back on the tax sale.
I can't guarantee all will have an interest.
But
in all
you will
the-
try to.
Yes, we will.
And what do we ask, $100 or?
$275, and that covers the certified mail costs and the title search.
$275. I have a lot of gardens around, or a new garage.
If we approve this, when will this process start?
Hopefully, as soon as possible. We'll start sending out letters to adjacent property owners. We've already identified that that there is qualified adjacent property owners. So as soon as I get your approval, we can start sending out letters.
Would you mark that date on your calendar, please, just for me, for my information? I want to see just how quick.
It's a 6-month process.
Okay.
And Janet, do you know how many codes you might have yet?
No.
You haven't looked on them.
We have a motion and a second. Charlie, can you call the roll, please?
Ms. Reagan,
Yes.
Mr. Henry,
Yes.
Mr. King.
Yes. Next, we have resolution 2018-05, resolution of the Board of Commissioners of County of Delaware, Indiana, identifying 2 tax sale certificates to be assigned to a nonprofit corporation.
Yes, Commissioners, I have interest from 2 different nonprofits for these properties, and we should have a public hearing on the 20th of February.
I'll make a motion we approve resolution, is it 2018-05? Yes.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Do we have any discussion? Charlie, call the roll, please.
Mr. Henry. Yes. Ms. Reagan,
Yes.
Mr. King.
Yes.
Oh, there it is, I'm sorry.
Next, we have department heads and elected officials. We have deed objection, tax ID number 1811-15-352-003.00-003, represented by Michael Court.
That was a property that was in the list of adjacent property owners that Janet talked about. Mr. Quirk was invited to submit information and/or appear at today's meeting. He indicates that there's litigation ongoing between the property owners. I couldn't locate any litigation, neither could Janet. Mr. Quirk isn't here, so you already adopted resolution. The objection's moved.
Okay. Then we'll move on to department heads.
Bob Jesse, Delaware County Highway. I left a list of the roads that we paved this year, just to keep you and the public informed. We did 128 lane miles, which is about 10 more than we did last year. We had 114 work orders, which consist of culvert pipes, trees that have to be cut back. We had 487 daily complaints that 2 years ago there would be 15 or 20 every day. Now, there's none. we take care of them as soon as they come in.
Good.
I'd like to thank the commissioners for them affording us to be able to do what we've done. I'd like to thank Redevelopment Commission, Brad, for his help with the road paving. And I'd like to thank Angie and the engineering department for all the work that they do.
Yeah. Well, we'd like to thank you, Robert, for your leadership, and this would be very interesting because I've never heard about the complaints. How far back do you think you could go to get, make a spreadsheet, maybe the past 5 years of?
I don't know how far back.
It's just, well, what it does, it shows accountability. And so if we see it in writing, we can hand it to people and just kind of.
We can take a look and see what we.
I just would like to have something like that, if it's not too much trouble. But congratulations, that's good news.
Thanks.
Thanks, Bob.
Good job, Bob.
Do we have any?
Yeah,
Well,
since I'm here. Marta Moody, Delaware Muncie Metropolitan Planning Commission, and I've just got a 2017 summary of building permits that I thought might be of interest. There were 28 new single-family homes, and this is unincorporated
okay.
Delaware County, so it doesn't include any of the towns. And the other one, you want? And it doesn't include Mount Pleasant Township because that's handled through Yorktown.
Okay.
So,
Thank you. Anyone else?
Charlie Richmond, Chief Deputy Auditor. Mr. Craig Kraft wanted to mention that he's really been working hard, him and Donna Patterson, about the budget for lowering and what we're drawing and what we've had to do for anticipation loans, and we got a very good interest rate this year. Donna, 1.9, was that correct? And so we've lowered that. One of the things that Mr. Craig Kraft would like to do to help even lower our spending and having to borrow monies, if any future kind of contracts, if they have anything in the contracts like with clothing allowance or something, that all those type of things, like if they're recurring like every 6 months, like for example a clothing allowance, that those type of things be done in June and December. Then that way we've got our tax draws and we're not borrowing against the money. And Mr. Craig Kraft would appreciate it if the commissioners would consider doing those kind of things and any kind of future agreements that we have, so that it reduces the amount of money we have to borrow.
John, is that in the current contract?
No, it's not in the current contract.
Because it usually pay what,
I think
January and July or something?
I think they do have, it's February and some other time, if I remember right.
Anyone else? We'll move to payment of claims in the amount of $2,945.34.
So moved.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Okay. Charlie, can you call the roll?
Yes, sir. Ms. Reagan,
Yes.
Mr. Henry,
Yes.
Mr. King.
Yes. Donna, did you have something?
I have the papers to be signed today by the commissioners so we can close on the tax anticipation warrant. I will tell you, with the help of the council and the commissioners and all the department heads, we started this year with $1 million more in county general than we started last year. We're asking, the loan is $500,000 less that we are requesting this year. Last year we requested 3.5, we only borrowed 3. This year we're asking for 3, hoping we borrow even less. So I just need all the papers signed today so I can get the closing taken care of.
You have all that? Donna has it.
Yeah, I got a whole bunch of them.
Next, we'll move on to questions and comments from the public. If we have nothing, I'll entertain any motion to recess.
So moved.
Second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Recess.